Hi, and welcome back here. I would like to have a conversation with you about shadow integration and about one of the strongest protection of the shadow. If you are new to the universe of shadow work, let me just say that the shadow is the storehouse of all the parts that we discard, disown within ourselves. All the parts of us that we repress, that we have been conditioned to repress, and that we've been conditioned to see as unlovable, ugly, and because of that we repress them. And additionally, the shadow is also the storehouse of the goodness, the light, the power that it feels unsafe to embody. It feels unsafe to embrace. Maybe at some point in your journey you tried to even express it and it got met with a lot of criticism and you decided to get rid of it, to push it aside, to repress it, to suppress it, but it's still very much inside of you. It is not because something is denied within you, it is not because something is disowned that it is not expressed. It is not because something is in the shadow that it has no voice, that it has no capacity to affect behavior. Actually, for so many people, their shadow, what is below the surface of awareness, can happen to be the loudest voice. For so many people, their shadow can happen to be the loudest voice. Things that are unsaid, things that are not really owned, can happen to run the show in their lives. So, what I would like to talk about here is the energy of denial. In my opinion, denial is one of the strongest protection for the shadow. Your shadow counts on denial in order to exist. Your shadow relies on denial in order to exist. And what is denial here? Every single time you say, this cannot possibly be true about me. Every time you say, this cannot possibly be the reality of what is in here. Sometimes there is the energy of denial in there. Let's take an example. You are holding a lot of anger within you, meaning you're angry, and you're not allowing yourself to express it because anger was the guest that wasn't welcomed in your house growing up. So you learn how to be passive aggressive, and you have a friend that learned how to spot it within yourself, and that friend is like, you are angry. But you go, hell no, I'm not angry. This is not true. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. And then your friend is like, what are you? I don't know. I'm not angry. I'm not angry. You're projecting. So that is what denial can look like. And denial is, I often call it spiritual arrogance. Why do I call it spiritual arrogance? Because very often, when we are in denial, we are under the impression that we know everything there is to know about who we are. We are under the impression that we know everything there is to know about ourselves, and sometimes, most of the times, it is just not true. The energy of denial makes more room for your shadow to exist. And when you actually go through the sacred journey of transcending denial within you, embracing the antidote of denial, which is compassionate curiosity, your shadow loses power. When you embrace the energy of humility, darkness loses power. I'm going to push it. When you embrace the energy of humility and compassionate curiosity, evil loses power. And this is big. This is quite big. Because when you step out of denial, when you bring in compassionate curiosity, you are actually making room for more intimacy with your shadow. And that is a space where illumination is possible. That is a place where you can actually bring the light of your own presence into aspects of you that were repressed and begin to actually see what are all the ways they have been hijacking you. Begin to bring your compassion, your love in there. And as you do that, your shadow shrinks a little bit more. Or it takes more space. Or it has less grip upon you. And that is one of the ways you can begin to free yourself even more. So here are a few things that I would like you to keep in mind. Denial is one of the strongest protections of your shadow. Meaning, denial is precisely the energy that feeds more of the darkness inside of you. Denial is spiritual arrogance, meaning being under the impression I know every single thing there is to know about me. I know every single dark corner of my being. That is what denial is. And it makes more room for your shadow to roam free and to hijack you, to hijack your expression, to hijack the ways you show up in relationships, to hijack the ways you express your desires, to hijack your integrity. And the more you can allow yourself to show up with humility, compassionate curiosity, you actually loosen the grip that the shadow has upon you. And instead of being an enemy, it turns out to be a friend in disguise, a friend that is offering to you parts of you that were ready for integration and ready for healing and ready for reconciliation. And that's what I wanted to share with you in this video. I hope it helps. I hope it brings some light into how you're relating to your shadow, and please share it with people who might need it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.